Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin, and I'm talking with a colleague from Hong Kong today. This is Elizabeth Chan. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Natalie. Delighted to be here.
Well, thanks very much for joining me for an idle chat. So you and I, we've got all of these questions on cards. We'll give the cards a shuffle. We'll find out what it is that we're going to talk about. How are things in Hong Kong today?
It's really lovely. The weather is good.
Good for you. Lucky, very lucky. All right, Miss Elizabeth, if you were to meet a time traveler, what question do you think you would want to ask that person?
Right now, I'd be really interested in someone from the future. Okay. And because I follow a lot about the metaverse, I want to know how much time people are spending in the metaverse and how much time they're spending in the physical world and how those two parts blend together.
Right. Are we really going to end up as a Ready Player One society?
That could be the ambition. I'm not sure we'll necessarily get that. I actually read the book this year and really enjoyed it. It's really fun. But that is just owned by one company. So at this stage of development, there's a lot of companies involved in building the metaverse. So let's see what happens. So yeah, so the Ready Player One idea of the metaverse is still very much centralized. I'd be interested to know that if it develops in the future, whether it might be more decentralized and what if there's a bit more of a mix between centralized and decentralized metaverses.
That's a really good question to ask and one I hadn't thought of for myself. I like the way you think. Elizabeth, is there any song that you feel absolutely compelled to sing along to when you hear it played on the radio?
Gosh, so many. One that springs to mind is Affirmation by Savage Garden. I have loved that band since forever. And actually, I think we played Truly, Madly, Deeply, or I Knew I Loved You at our wedding, which was in my parents-in-law living room. And my husband played it as I was like walking through the corridor into the living room. But one that I love to sing to is Affirmation. I think it's really lovely to be able to say, I believe this and I believe that. And there's some really lovely lines in that song, including, I believe I'm loved when I'm completely by myself alone. And I really love that really self-affirming part of the song.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to go out into the world and be the warrior that you are.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Miss Elizabeth, Hong Kong has a lot of good food. What food do you crave most often?
I crave this all the time, and it is the condensed milk toast, which is offered at the Australian Dairy Milk Company in Jordan. It's absolutely delicious. And in addition to the milk toast, I also recommend the breakfast where you get the world's best scrambled eggs. And then you get fluffy, thick toast as well. And you get ham and macaroni and a soup macaroni. And you get it all for such a cheap price. It's wonderful.
One of the things I miss most about Asia is nasi goreng for breakfast.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, we don't have anything we don't have anything like that in France, not even close. All right. Elizabeth, if you never needed to sleep again, you could just stay awake for forever and always maintain an active mind and lots of energy, what would you do with all of the extra time that you save?
I would spend it with my family. I have a 20-month-old who is just adorable, and I have a wonderful husband as well. And we're really lucky as I've got my parents-in-law here and my family as well. And we already, spend a lot of time together as a family. But if I had more hours in a day, I'd love to dedicate it to them.
Aren't you just the loveliest person on the planet? My goodness. And a 20-month-old. Wow. Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Natalie.
Elizabeth, it's kind of I don't know, maybe an old-fashioned idea, but do you have a good luck charm?
Oh, I think it must be my husband. He's always got very good idea. Perhaps not so much a charm, but he's really good at observing what I do and helping to nudge me in the right direction. So, he encouraged me to think about moving back to Hong Kong. And so I joined my current firm earlier this year, and I've just been so happy to be back in Hong Kong with my family and really delighted to immerse myself again in Chinese culture. I'm focusing a lot on my Mandarin now. And I'm so glad. And I just feel like, the thing that I do with my husband together would be very, very lucky.
Yeah, create the luck. Of course we can. Next card. What is the coldest you've ever been?
Oh, I think living in the US. So I did my master's at Yale in New Haven, and then I spent almost a year in New York, and I found the winters really, really cold. Having to wear snow boots every day just to get around and seeing the snow turn to slush. That was extremely cold. Somewhere that might be colder though is where my mother-in-law is from. So she's from Canada, and I think she's from Saskatchewan. She says it's extremely cold there. So if I ever visit Saskatchewan, maybe that will be the coldest place I've ever been to.
I'm pretty sure you'll have to change your answer. New England is cold, but the tundra in Saskatchewan, that's going to win every time.
Yeah.
Every time. All right. Elizabeth, if you owned a restaurant, what kind of food would you be serving?
Oh, definitely Cantonese food. That's my favorite food. Probably all the cuisines, and I'm a foodie. And so I think I've actually wanted to do this for a while, which is to sell my mom's cooking. She does some really amazing meals. But my favorite would be something called moi moi tofu. So it's actually a Taiwanese dish, actually, this one, not Cantonese, but she learned it from a friend a long time ago. And moi moi tofu is like little sister's tofu. And that was a nickname that I had growing up because I was the youngest girl in my family.
That's lovely. Well, Cantonese food is really good. I will agree with you. I would go to that restaurant. And Elizabeth, before I let you go, let me ask you the same question that I always ask of my guests as the last question. And that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry and the work that we do?
Oh, so many things. I love international arbitration. I think what I love most about it is how international it is. So every case that I do will involve a different law, different procedural rules, a counsel from different countries, clients from different countries, arbitrators from different countries. And I think it's really interesting to consider what those cultural elements, what impact those cultural elements have. Even in the way that we run international arbitrations, for example, is it adversarial or is it more inquisitorial? Do we have a tribunal appointed expert or do the parties appoint? I think these are questions, these cross-cultural communication issues are ones that you really have to think about, and they're quite nuanced and can be quite tricky as well. And what I also love is just meeting people from all around the world, from all different cultures. So I just came back from the ICA Congress in Edinburgh, where there were, I think, 1,300 arbitration practitioners from all over the world. And that's just definitely been one of the highlights of my career.
How fun. Good for you. Well, I'm so glad you were able to join me for an idle chat today. I really appreciate your time and letting me get to know you a little bit better.
Thanks so much, Natalie. And I hope you'll be in the hot seat next time.
We'll switch it around, I promise. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Natalie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Cool. Great. Thank you very much.